Molten Battery. Labrov with a knock-up, tries to get Noah out of the situation, and the Unbreakable falls off, and Ice opens up the big guns.
Can you TP, Oscar? We can fight this.
Only
Kill the tower first, maybe?
Kill him.
Kill the
Alice there, no?
Yeah, I'm tanking.
Tower.
He's dead, Ali. Look, you have a position now to go, guys. Look at Morgana, guys. Morgana. One shot Morgana. Morgana is dead. Asante.
Nice, we kill her.
Go Nas after, guys. Drake and Nas, okay?
Take a bot.
Yeah, nice counter pick, brother.
Welcome back, the LEC. I love me some voice comms, gentlemen. I think it's safe to say Fnatic probably feeling reasonably confident after that first game, although still some pretty serious expressions as we get the behind-the-scenes look. BDS in a similar state. Guys, there's a lot to talk about in that game. For anyone looking to tune in now, the story of the moment, the words I'm looking for. Fight selection, going to be a big story. But before we get to that particular story, let's start with the draft. What popped out to you immediately, Eragon?
Yeah, so I think the thing that popped out to me the most was that this was very clearly a game where they're sort of experimenting and fishing with different picks on the new patches, because we've had 4 patches since the last time we saw the LEC, right? And immediately off the bat, I look at BDS and I'm seeing a B1MF. Now, the thing is to me with BDS is that I feel like they've over time developed the team to have a lot of dependency on Ice and his agency. You see him on Zeri, Jinx, these kinds of hyper carries that scale into the late game a lot, rather than this kind of MF, which can rely on team a bit more. So I feel like if this is the direction they want to go, I don't like it as much. I'd rather give them more agency on these kinds of picks.
And I was really surprised by the lack of Sejuani, because she was ramping up at the end of the finals, and then I thought with all the other nerfs that she would be like the most prioritized jungle, but she, like Aurora, weirdly enough, just slipped through the draft. And I guess it's because Fnatic actually chose the Vi themselves, so then they want to counterpick it with the Morgana. Didn't really work out, but I do see the logic there. I think the Morgana historically has been very good into the Vi, but I think Razork was very clever in how he used the Vi.
It's really weird, right? Like, usually, compared to the LCK, because we are one of the last regions to go over to this new patch, right? Usually what you see is an early Sejuani or a Maokai followed by a Lilia on the other side, and I just feel like we've completely done something near the opposite, right? Where you're playing for Vi pairings and so on.
Whatever is going on in scrims this week is clearly very weird, no doubt in my mind. But even though it was BDS, you could see what their composition wanted to do, there were still some of those individual errors in the early game that I think cost them dearly in this matchup overall, especially when we look at Adam around that bot lane tower.
Yeah, I do think something that BDS fumbled was the early game with Adam. I feel like they tried to do too much. They would play off of 3 lanes at one time with Adam on these dives, try to defend the cross-map play from Fnatic, as well as play for mid lane, top lane, and the neutral objective, which in my opinion is too much. At this point, you've just got to let the objective go, because you can't win every single lane at once when the enemy can 4-man you.
Even here, I think Adam was out. He decided to walk in on the tower because he saw the Alistar come, and I think there was just some fake confidence going on there. He could just run out, live a happy Adam life, and just leave the tower.
I know, but despite these hiccups, I honestly feel like we talked about these compositions. Finn, you were talking so much about how hard it is for Fnatic to actually find a good fight. We talked about it with the Morgana Black Shield. Despite that, we come into the mid game, BDS are getting mid push, everything looks good. 4th Drake, boys, is where it all blew up. I really thought BDS had an edge. You heard Vedius talk about it on the caster desk as well. It seemed close. Finn, we look back at this fight, it's incredible to me that Fnatic managed to pull this off.
And just kudos to Razork here. He like sees when the Morgana is distracted, he finds his Q flash angle, and he comes in with ult and actually get a one-shot. Because usually what happens in the Morgana versus Vi matchup, as long as Morgana has vision of Vi and she knows where she's coming from, she can always react to the engage with her own Black Shield, nullifying the Vi CC and making the Vi very easy to one-shot afterwards, because she can use root and an ult. But here Razork found the Q flash ult on the Morgana and actually one-shot her. So it was a very nice pick from Razork.
Yeah, I will say it's a testament to Fnatic's patience as well. We saw them and we were like, why aren't you cross-mapping on 3rd Drake? But I guess it's because the windows to find these engages are so thin that they have to be there to fish continuously. But they didn't overforce it on the 3rd Dragon. They just sat around and fished to see if they could find those thin windows to engage. They didn't find it and they just went back to waiting for 4th Dragon rather than fumbling the game at 3rd Dragon.
And so now I'm in a situation where I'm looking back at this game. We talk about Fnatic have a comp where it's difficult to find fights because of Razork's, individual moments there. They are able to find it. But is this a situation where we look at BDS and we go, you guys had the tools to win this, you just fumbled it a little bit?
I'm not gonna say that the tools, they had a slightly better draft, I would say, but it wasn't an easy to execute draft. You don't have any real tank because the Xanthus will not always be there with you to phase check. So I think maybe this game they're just gonna go back into the Sejuani, as we said before, and they're just going to choose an easier to execute comp.
Important to know before we add any other follow-up notes about Game 2, BDS have chosen red side, so we'll see how that affects their draft overall. But looking ahead to that game, what do you want to see change? You mentioned Ice's champion pool. You mentioned their priority. What do you want to see?
I think the big thing is I'd rather see something like Azir prioritized, and I want to see other picks like the Aurora picked up as well. I really like the direction that Fnatic have gone in, at the very least when it comes to mid lane picks, expanding Humanoid's pool. I believe this was his first Yone game. These AD mids that have been buffed up, like the Yasuo and Yone, I like that direction as well. But specifically for BDS, in order to win, I think Ice needs more agency.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine they chose red side. That is so cool. That is so like different. People usually don't choose red side, so I wonder they must have a plan here. I think they want to come in and target ban someone and try to make sure they get 2 power picks for 1 on the red side.
All I'm saying is, can someone please pick Aurora? We spent an entire week prepping for this champion because she's supposed to be turbo broken.
It's been one in LCK, man.
If she doesn't get picked or banned, every caster here is going to be very cranky about the amount of prep they did. That's enough from us here at the desk. Let's send it over to our casters for Game 2.
I'm already mad. I'm going to be honest that Aurora hasn't been picked or banned. Angry. Why do I learn ability names if I'm not going to use them on the cast?
I mean, I haven't heard you say watch out Eep for Lilia once.
Actually, there is a highlight on one of our recent videos where I say watch out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it, so I didn't hear it. So the statement's still true.
Wow. We're here for Game 2. Fnatic convincing-ish winning Game 1 after they got the lead. They held on to the lead very well. BDS struggled to really have any impact after that first fight around the Drake. So, let's see what the teams conjure up. BDS picking the red side this time.
Yep.
Elected to move over there. Ashe and Rel banned out first by Fnatic. Ezreal and by... Well, BDS just going to ban everything that just beat them, aren't they?
Well, I mean, you've got to remember that Razork does have a very long history on the champion. And I think he was instrumental in setting up that crucial fight. And when we think about Noah, Ezreal is a champion that typically we associate with success. Even though in the finals he wasn't able to win those games, he was in a great position every single time.
They actually banned Ken. Yep. I didn't think they were.
So what else are they going to ban? They
draft something else, Fnatic.
So it's Nautilus on R3 into Braum ban. And then what's their final ban need to be?
Okay,
Yone. Nice.
Misfortune.
Okay, they can't ban Braum now. They probably want to pick it themselves. Misfortune obviously has very strong at the moment, especially with the Bloodthirster first. You can do a lot of work, but strange to see it be one priority, especially with things like Aurora still up.
Europe has definitely been... they're always different with their draft priorities, I'm not going to lie. And MF first pick is definitely a bit of a surprise. I'm looking into a bit of the history here from Noah, and I can't find any Misfortune games. And I don't associate him with a Misfortune as a Misfortune player either. You know, you talked about the Braum, it does make a lot of sense in the context of Fnatic. They're continuing to pick the brand as well, even after some of the nerfs.
Yeah, I haven't really seen it in LCK or LPL, so surprised to see it. Like, we saw still smidgens of Zyra here and there, but brand kind of falling off the cliff, so kind of surprised that he's gone for that, especially over the Zyra, because I still think Zyra can do a lot when you're looking at what's already a pretty heavy dive comp. But the Ziggs now, this is something we see a little bit down in the bot lane in LPL, so I would imagine that's going down towards Ice, but we'll have to wait and see.
You got the flexibility is the beauty of the champion, right? And but yeah, you would imagine, given that we've already seen the Misfortune, that would be where we're expecting it to go. Also, Ziggs Leona as a bot lane 2 versus 2. Early levels is a little bit weaker, but once you get that extra bit of mana, you start becoming very lethal.
Oh, so as Noah like opens up with the bullet time, it's just like 1 ult, 2 ult. It's like just mess up this entire area, just demolish it. So I do like it coming through from BDS.
And BDS have drafted themselves. Teamfight is so far, right? It depends how they'll round out. They could go for something like a Corki in the mid lane if they want to. Would make a lot of sense for Nuke. I think Lucian is also fine. I would prefer a Corki here, maybe even a Tristana. If they want to play something a little traditional in the form of the front to back, they can also ramp things out with the Cassante. Fnatic, though, is the one where I'm a little bit more... I feel like they need something like an Ornn or a Zac or a Malphite, because right now their initiation isn't the strongest. Maybe they're relying on the fact that BDS has a lot of initiation tools, and so they're going to play more peel, disengage, range.
Yeah, but the BDS has a lot of engage, but it's kind of non-committal, right? Like, you throw it the Sejuani ult, you don't have to follow up. You can throw it the solo player, don't have to follow up. So I do agree with you. I think Fnatic needs something that can start the fight on their terms. Otherwise BDS can kind of just fish for engages without having to really commit for it.
4 out of the 5 champions from Fnatic's last composition have now been banned.
Yeah, they couldn't ban the Braum because Fnatic picked it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. So very much a focus here from BDS. I do think, as you say, they want to continue down this range route. You don't really want more engage into a Brand because it's Brand, and if you have a bunch of melees into him, that Pyroclasm is just going to dash around. There's the Lucian, likely going into the mid lane with that Ziggs going bot. Fnatic eyeing up a Corki of their own to try and match that pressure from Nuke in mid.
I'm not sure how. I mean, like, Corki's generally always fine, right? Because he's Corki.
It's Worlds time. Corki, Ryze, Azir. Those are the three that must be at the top of the prio list.
I don't know if I like this.
I really don't like this.
Like, obviously, they're picking K'Sante because it's a safe blind, and with Renekton gone, Fnatic is saying we don't really have that many options. Now, this could shake things up.
You'll scare it away, Vedi.
I kind of want it scared away, to be honest. I like this. Humanoid, maybe you go Grasp of the Undying and go for a tankier build, but he is kind of the solo engage. So like he kind of has to send himself in to start these fights off. And with BDS, like long range poke from Ziggs, culling from Lucian. Honestly, well, Jace is banned, but like something long range for Adam here could actually be really good as well. Like you have no need to play into.
I mean, they could do Kennen themselves.
I've got it. Calista top.
Oh,
that would have been sick.
I would have been sick. I would have liked the Calista top.
Yeah.
You've been talking about it for weeks, Rob.
I want it.
It is something Adam has been playing a lot in solo queue, but instead the Camille for a little bit more dive. Some great pick potential as well from the Team BDS lineup.
So the only reason why I don't like the Lucian in BDS's composition is like great skirmisher. I think it can work well with the Sejuani. Obviously the Sejuani Camille is a very strong top jungle duo. When it comes to the fights, I think that when you have a Ziggs, something like a Corki would have just given you a little bit more of non-committal DPS, just because Lucian just have to get a little bit closer, and it gave then Fnatic the ability to pick the Azir, which you then look at their disengage tools. They have MFE, MF ult, they have Braum ult, they have Brand. Like, it's a hard comp to engage into. So you've got a pretty interesting dynamic where on the side of BDS, they kind of want to find these fights. There's a degree of diving, there's a degree of short range. They have to really close that gap against you, whereas Fnatic is saying, well, you can try, but if you do, our Brand is going to ulti you, our Misfortune is going to ulti you, our Azir is going to ulti you, our Braum is going to ulti you. Like, it's going to be very difficult to commit onto this Fnatic composition unless they can find some creative flanks, nice picks with the Camille, and whether or not they can find advantages. This Sejuani Camille combo on the top side of the map is something that I'd really like to see BDS leverage in the early game.
I think the nice thing though is that for BDS, they just have so much control over every lane when you get to the mid game. Like Ziggs should have push over the Misfortune. Nuke should be able to get an aggressive against Humanoid. Same when you look at Adam. I think that's where you try and win out, just constant pressure and then just Ziggs to blow up structures as you move around.
As we jump into game 2 of our series, you're definitely right. Side lanes for BDS is definitely a strong suit that they'll have as we get into the mid to late game. Kind of looking at Fnatic composition, like K'Sante and Azir, they can match, sure. But I definitely agree with you. There's room for potential. There's kill threats there on the side of BDS. We'll see how things play out, whether or not there's any early level 1 shenanigans.
Are you guys a master of the Rift? Do you never miss a game? Santander is here to reward you specifically. Yes, you, Kevin. Head on over to santandergaming.com to win weekly and monthly rewards like Hextech chests and skins. This week's code is Arcane10. With the new teaser just coming out, I'm very excited for Arcane.
All the Kevins were just casually watching on the second monitor, and then they're like, wait, what?
No, it's not all the Kevins. It's that Kevin.
Kevin, right,
he knows who he is.
Yeah, right. The guy sitting next to David.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Skynet is an operation.
Yeah. Anyway.
We have a couple of firsts in this game, Vedi. It's the first time we've seen Adam on Camille this year. First time we've seen Ice on the Ziggs ever, I believe. Noah hasn't really cracked out the MF across his competitive history either. So a few firsts going out.
And we'll see how they do. This is the favorite caster phrase. My expectation is that at early levels, actually, my instincts say that Noah and Jun should be able to get prior in this lane, because, yeah, Ziggs can't do anything.
So Ziggs really gets very strong around level 4, level 5, and you can actually look for a lot of kill pressure, which I think people don't realize, as you can get that combo off, especially with the provided CC from Labrov. Having the Ignite down already makes it a little bit more tough, but you do have to be exceptionally careful at that level specifically, and then it kind of teeters back into, okay, he's a little bit more kind of poke, but there are a few levels on the Ziggs early that you can really get aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the advantages that Ziggs players have, being able to run the TP. The common occurrence, like you talk about being able to get that early mana item, right? And so then you just have the luxury of being able to spam your Q, and then you have much more control of the lane.
You want to build up towards that lost chapter as soon as you can. But for the moment, Noah and Jun have control of that lane. Razork pathing down towards the bottom side. Sheo pathing up. Should be spotted on this ward, or at least not quite spotted on the Razorbeaks. We'll see if he's able to avoid detection as he works his way around towards the red. Now, I mean, it depends how closely they were watching, really, doesn't it? If they spotted those couple of Razorbeaks dying at the end.
No pings, so at the moment I think he's relatively okay, but you're not like the only person I'm actually a bit worried about is Oscarinin. I think he should be able to crash that wave there and then get a ward down to spot out where Sheo's going to be, but I don't expect too much action in these early stages. I think it'll be more Razork, full clearing, get your initial grab, and then just back off and come back onto the map.
Brand really just wants to cycle through those camps as quickly as possible. He closed them so fast, especially when you start building up some of that AP. Rylai's first is a Brand special that we've seen recently just for the extra utility when it comes to team fighting. At the moment, Grab hasn't even spawned. 5 whole seconds for Razork to wander around, do nothing really, see if Sheo perhaps is on this side of the map, which he's not. Both the junglers should just get their first crabs. Might be a deep ward from Razork. Is he going to wait for the Grand Prix spawn? Is he going to look towards bot? Ice is down a little bit of HP, not much mana left in the tank either. Does have the flash, no ignite for Labrov right now. Unbreakable comes down. There's the TP in. Razork locked up underneath the tower. Ice falls first though. Fnatic tank it perfectly. Razork's being locked up, still has the flash and will dash across the wall to escape. Adam dashes forward, gets one. Jun stunned up as well as Adam's looking for more TP coming in as well. As it's Ice who's going to rejoin the party. Zenith Blade going wide. Adam's still on the chase. Ice here for a little bit more action. Flash satchel, a possibility. Jun sacrifices himself for the good of his ADC.
That works out really well for BDS. Adam had already got the push back out on top side, so he's not going to lose out a huge amount. Actually, nice freeze here from Oscarinin for the moment, so we'll lose out in a little bit. But in the grand scheme of things, 2 kills off the back of that. This Camille is so accelerated. Sheen picked up early. This is so good for those early trades for Adam.
One of the things we wanted to see was BDS utilizing this top jungle combo. I was not expecting this and how they were going to use their top lane. Good early TP to try and mitigate the dive. Obviously, it's Jun to soak up that initial aggro. And, I mean, the response is pretty good. I love the initial play from Fnatic. I think the play is pretty clean, given that running TP, you don't have that extra defensive summoner spell. So they find the initial pick, but then Adam in the extended trade, level 4, knows that the E is going to come back up soon. And the fact that Ice can just TP back into lane, so he doesn't really lose that much either, means that Adam definitely makes this trip worthwhile.
Yeah, he's gone back on a Sheen and a longsword. He is in heaven on the top side of the map. Oscarinin should be able to survive the pressure of Adam alone, but will be doing spending most of his time underneath that turret for the moment. Has the TP to get back. Adam might just look for plates, has Demolish, dashes away, didn't get the auto off in time. Oscar hits 6. And with that and the cannon wave going in, Oscar should be able to back and TP back to the lane.
You see that Adam was trying there, though, buffering the hook shot, so then even if he got knocked back, he would have been able to get out. So should be able to at least keep this pressure up, and I think that's... Ooh, actually, Humanoid going to take a lot of hurt here. Nicely done by Nuke.
Humanoid has no TP as well. Like, he just got back into the lane with a blasting 1, so Nuke using the fact that he crested over to level 6, using that powerful ultimate to chunk away, and he goes in! Humanoid, though, dashes him back with the Emperor's Divide, the outplay! Humanoid absolutely nukes Nuke. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Jun and Noah are going to try and survive what is likely to be a dive here from BDS. Ice, Labrov, and Sheo eyeing them up greedily under the tower. Zenith play it in. Labrov tanking it, cleanse away by Noah. Noah falls first. Ice able to get 1. The response, Labrov falling under the tower, and I don't think BDS will get any more.
Ultimately, a worthwhile trade, I think, for BDS. Look at how much farm is lost for Noah. At the very least, he is able to get a kill. So in terms of the gold, he's still in a pretty solid position. But that mid play, Humanoid, once again getting the better of Nuke. We saw it on the Yone in game 1. We're seeing it here again. Nuke, the idea was really good, but the shield from Humanoid's E mitigated so much damage. And then the thing I respect the most about Humanoid was he doesn't try and get the last auto, you know? He just says, you know what, if I try, I might actually die and trade 1 for 1. So instead, I'm just going to give the kill over to my jungler, and I'll be happy with that.
I'm pretty sure Nuke would have just died tower, though, if Razork hadn't taken it, right? So...
Well, I mean...
You could say the thing you respect the least about Razork is stealing the kill from Nuke under... It's 6 at 1, half a dozen of another here, buddy.
It's all about perspective. And I just, when I think about Humanoid as a player, I've seen him definitely overstep for a kill or 2.
But it's playoffs, or season finals at least, so Humanoid's in the form of the year as he usually is when he gets to this level.
Yeah, let's hoping that they can maintain it because, you know, while Fnatic, they've been able to find 3 kills. BDS have been the playmakers on the map. We see a stacked wave on top. Labrov is here to cover. So it's going to deter Fnatic from setting up any potential divers. Razork is in the area. I say deter, perhaps not.
Send him Braum. Pyroclasm early. It's onto Adam to get the stun as well. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Noah caught out by Sheo and Ice. Noah has no flash. He can try to escape, but the Winter's Wrath will put him in his place. On the top side of the map, Jun bolstered the attack from Razork and Oscar, but looks like Adam and Labrov were able to get out safe.
They did manage to shove Adam back though, so will end up losing out of the wave. You're also going to see this top side taken, so Sheo not going to be able to get his top side camp, so at least Fnatic going to be able to get a decent amount back here in trade for what's going to be a bit of a lead now for Ice in that bottom lane.
Now, ultimately, the gold advantage that Adam was able to gain on the bot side has been completely nullified. Look at that experience difference now.
That's the flash early. The Zenith Blade's going to chase him here. Nuke can start to collapse. Sheo can dash across the wall. The flash is also a possibility. Dashes first. Humanoid here to back him up. The Emperor's survived, but another shield at Daybreak sends Razork packing. BDS 5-3 up.
Razork stuck around too long and good punish from BDS. Labrov just able to clip him with that Zenith Blade, and again, more kills now going towards Adam. This Camille should be behind when you look at the CS, but she's just got so much gold off these kills.
So Noah gets picked in bot lane. On the top side, Razork's getting picked as well. I think Fnatic's idea behind the cross map is a solid play to try and deny some gold away from Adam, but they can't afford to be making these mistakes as BDS is very quick to capitalize. Though we look at the overall gold state, very even between the 2 teams.
It's just greed from Razork trying to get that red buff alongside the plates they got on the top side, and now he doesn't have flash for the next Drake, which is up in 2.5 minutes. It's been a 3 grub for a Drake exchange so far. Fnatic got the 3 this time. Seems like blue side likes to get the grubbies, and red side here, the Drakes early on in this series.
I think as BDS, you can deprioritize grubs a little bit because you've got the Ziggs. It makes it so easy to just execute those towers, and I think that's exactly what they're going to look for here as Sheo starts to move down. 2.5 plates is where you can use that satchel charger just under, so trying to see if they can get that last little bit of damage onto this bot lane turret and take it for the Ziggs.
So Sheo wasn't spotted on that ward because the sweeper was already out. Even though he was in vision range, Jun's going to put the Unbreakable down. Mega Inferno one comes out as well, but not too much damage with only a lost chapter. And that other item, Fiendish Codex, that's the one. Don't often have to talk about parts of, you know, AP items, but Ice unable to really chunk out Jun right there. Did burn the heal and the flash though, so Jun summoning a less for the next Drake fight.
So though Ice just going to get some damage down, has that teleport to get back into lane if he needs to, but I don't think he has too much that he needs to worry about. Well, Humanoid now trying to use that push he has in mid to sneak up towards topside. I think Adam's aware of this though, hiding in the brush to see if he can see Humanoid.
Comes back out, and the cannon minion starts being targeted. It's 2 levels down on Oscarinin. You talked about the CS discrepancy up towards that top side, Vedi. Adam has felt the pain of that TP away, but 3 kills to the good. Can look for more here as Labrov is starting to circle. Sheo on his way across as well. Nuke starting to work his way towards the top side. Oscarinin goes in with the Pathmaker. Shielded Daybreak for the stun. The Solar Flare connects as well, and the CC chain is good so far. Hexagolden Maiden locks Oscar in place. The All-Out will buy him a second, but Precision Protocol from Adam's enough to secure the kill.
The play on the top side was great from BDS, but I loved watching Ice this whole time. Starts walking back to lane, but was like, if multiple members of Fnatic show up here, I'm teleporting top. And I think that's the sign of a team that's used to practicing with Ziggs, is how they use that teleport in the early stages. But with everyone from BDS going top side, Fnatic going to get some alone time on this mid lane turret.
Constant exchanges across the map. BDS continue to find these picks. On the top side, they're able to find that nice gank. They get the ghost out from Oscar. The Dragon now spawning in 30 seconds, resets coming through. Similar to what we saw in game 1, BDS very focused around these objectives. They want to be able to spend this gold. There's that Trinity Force now secured for Adam. He's going to have that available. It looks like Nuke, though, won't have the opportunity. Maybe after this wave, they'll have enough gold to be able to complete another item. The plating. Ooh.
Already has the Nash is going to get a plate from this as well. Both the mid laners do have their TP, so if they want to reset straight away, they can get back into the fray. In fact, around the Drake, 9 seconds on it. Nuke's going to reset first. Likely just TP back to the mid lane. Doesn't quite have the gold yet to complete an item, so it's just going to be a pickaxe of Amp Scepter and a bow and another little dagger for him. Nicole sitting at 30 stacks. Gold even between the 2 teams as BDS start to make their way down towards the bottom side. It's Ziggs in the mid lane. Ice answering the push that's come out from Humanoid so far. He TPs to bot lane though, and he's looking for a couple more plates to add to his menu this game. Another one taken. Fnatic start up for Drake.
There is a world where Ice can lean bot and just clear out that wave with his ultimate if needs to, but looks like he's going to hard focus on towards the mid lane, and BDS kind of realizing, look, a set first Dragon for Fnatic doesn't really mean too much. This is a composition that wants to be accelerated and hit a late game point with the Ziggs and the Camille, so focusing more on the gold for this one.
It's interesting how Fnatic just overstack the bot wave and completely abandon mid. It means that there's ultimately a trade of plates between Ice and Humanoid, while Noah just controls the river with his jungler. And as you rightly said, BDS felt awkward trying to fight that, especially with BT being completed and Ziggs, the state that he's in. It's probably not something that you immediately want to try and force. So, yeah, okay, fair respect being given from the side of BDS, and ultimately, I would say a small win for Fnatic as they're able to secure the Dragon.
Battle as the game goes on is really about how big can Adam get and how big can Humanoid get. Who will be able to really chunk out the enemy backline during a fight where we see a slide and a glide in from Humanoid, the FLICKR special, his signature move across the course of his career.
Yeah, I expect an early Zhonya's or something along those lines for Humanoid, because again, he kind of has to be that playmaker here for Fnatic. It's really difficult for them to try and set up, especially for someone like Noah in these fights, unless you get that set up. So I think it'll be on Humanoid to make that happen. Otherwise, Ice gets the poke you can open up for Nuke with that ultimate, especially if the Glacial Tomb from Sheo lands, the Solar Eclipse from Labrov lands. It's very easy for BDS to get successful poke off before Fnatic can start a fight.
That would up. Sorry,
no, I was only going to say, my interpretation is that I think Fnatic value being on the objective first. We talked about in draft how I think that they like it when their opponents walk into them, and when you've got Sejuani, Leona, champions that inherently like to face check. Yeah, good luck face checking Braum. But if they're on an objective late, that means they have to find some sort of pseudo-engage, and speaking of an engage...
Solarflare only gets the slow. Labrov looking for Jun right now. They go for Razork instead. The Emperor's Divide comes out. Pyroclasm is bouncing. Labrov takes a chunk. Nuke now behind them as the TP... No, joining, sorry, from Adam has come. Both top laners are here in the bottom side, but like, it's just the damage on Labrov chunks him out in the end. Not really too much happening apart from flashes burnt from the junglers.
Through the locket, Razork was doing so much damage on the backsides. I mean, that brand was nerfed, right? It was nerfed? Yeah, Razork making it not look the case, as just the passive doing so much work on the backside as well. He was very patient with the ultimate as well. He waited for BDS to start disengaging, and then basically this brand ultimate was bouncing between Ice, Sheo, and Adam. And then the locket did come through, but it really only just... I say the locket came through. I'm pretty sure they don't even have a locket.
No, they do. It's on Sejuani.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. I thought that was the... Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, ultimately no one ends up falling. Still kill advantage to BDS. Adam testing the waters a little bit against the Braum. But we turn our attention to the Herald now on the top side of the map as the lane priorities have shifted. Notice how Fnatic continues to play around Humanoid, right? One of the big adjustments, I would say, that we've seen from the summer finals, where Noah was really the person they invested in a lot. And while we've seen a lot of early ganks from the bot side, as we enter the mid game, we saw it in game 1, them facilitating and playing around Humanoid on a side lane, and we're seeing it again here.
Solarflare back up for Labrov. Humanoid does have his flash. Adam and Sheo looking to collapse onto him, but he can always just dash across the wall. Adam and Sheo can do the same to escape the clutches of Jun and Razork, who are chasing them a little bit. No dashes having to be invested, but this gives free time to Ice in the mid lane alongside Labrov just to take down this tower. The satchel would be enough, not even going to use it until now, and there we go, the tower falls.
So that's the thing, Fnatic are spending time chasing BDS around the map, but Adam and Sheo know there's very few engage tools unless they face check Jun.
They face check Jun! But Adam can dash away, flashes away from the order, but Humanoid flashes to follow. Glacial Prison hits only onto Jun. Adam able to survive for now. It was a close one, but the Rift Out stopped by Razork gives time for Nuke to work his way up from the bottom side of the map, and perhaps BDS will look at this as their next objective. Labrov still has a flash if he wants to get in. Adam, no TP, he's just backed away. He's going to answer Oscar down towards the bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is you can't commit to this wave as Fnatic because Ice can just clear out the wave with his ultimate and then you've got nothing and suddenly you're underneath the tower. But Fnatic are creating enough points of pressure that they will get some damage on top. Oscarinin is getting bot, and a huge amount of that comes off the fact that Adam had to burn his TP to cover the initial top side play when Rift Trail was spawning. You don't have that TP on Nuke, so Oscarinin will get a tower still in Fnatic's favor.
it's an interesting tempo game here as well, because you see Nuke move up towards the top side to cover that wave, right? And then Ice backs. He has TP, so if Fnatic start to contest around this Rift Herald, he can always TP and be here a little bit quicker than Fnatic would. Jun is now moving across. Ice has just walked out of base. Razork's here as well. Humanoid got the push in top side, but with Sheo starting this and now Nuke backing away, Fnatic could actually try and challenge this if they wanted. They have a numbers advantage if Humanoid moves down from top side.
I was going to shift across. You can look for a quick engage here if you want to, but Fnatic now in position. And again, I think BDS, while they do have the number of TP advantages, I think they haven't been using them as much as they'd like as Jun, actually.
That was just a really strange sequence to me,
It was
because I think if
awkward,
Nuke stays in top lane, then they're always going to have a man advantage, right? Because they can burn the TP in by the Ziggs, but Nuke backed away. I didn't see his health. Maybe he was just about to hit a spike or something and wanted that little bit of extra gold, but you kind of sell Sheo a little bit there.
Yeah, what I mean is, like, you can be using Ice in different ways. He doesn't have to TP to certain positions, but he can lean down river, toss the ultimate because he's already hit the level 11 to clear the
100%.
wave and create less pressure on the map for Fnatic. And I think that's where BDS have been missing out with this Ziggs, especially when you see like players like Jackie Love in the LPL do. That's kind of what he's using a lot of the time, is that global to just get tempo on the map.
It's the first time we've seen Ice competitively on the Ziggs, so perhaps a few teething issues for
Noah.
BDS. Noah, well, there was a roundabout there, Betty, and he has to go around it to make sure that he can take the right exit. Labrov stepping forward. Adam hasn't been on vision at all. The claim's away from Noah, and immediately the clamps onto Adam. There's the bullet time, and Adam is put in the dirt. Noah able to get the all-out out here from Oscarinin, who isolates Nuke as well. Fnatic react perfectly to Adam's flank.
That was a great example of how hard it is to really dive this comp. This Misfortune was flanked on, got chain CC'd by both the Camille and the Leona, and the Avengers descended immediately. All of Fnatic was there to provide that peel for Noah. The Braum peel was huge, the Cassante ultimate to take Lucian out of the fight. It's just like, you just can't touch Noah. And again, as we look at this fight, look at how much CC came down, but they just couldn't kill him.
Yeah, I think it was a lack of patience from BDS, though. You can play this slow, but you have one ultimate that's going on towards Razork, no follow-up from Ice. You've got another ultimate from the Camille going on towards Noah. Ice doesn't have that ultimate to follow up, so you end up with a very split decision here from BDS, and that's where then Fnatic can play this very heavy peel up, Jun getting in the way, Humanoid buying space, opening up with that ultimate as everyone on BDS is funneling through that choke.
I mean, it's unfortunate to say, but this is a bit of a tales all this time when it comes to BDS. When we look back at their previous series against G2 where they did fall short, even when they found themselves in winning positions, it was because they just picked poor fights. Sometimes they just didn't make sense for them to fight, sometimes the fights were uncoordinated, and as Dagda highlighted, the coordination there wasn't quite on point. I think you nailed it on the head in the sense that CC just wasn't layered, the target focus wasn't there. And BDS, they need to clean that up if they want to stand a chance against Fnatic here in Game 2.
And now Fnatic in the gold lead, about 1.3k ahead. You can see the advantages on the key carries for them. Humanoid and Noah, about 1,000 gold in total ahead of their opposite numbers. Razork as well, can't overlook him on the brand. The damage the Pyroclasm can do, especially when you don't really have anyone that can easily eat it. Only Sheo and Labrov, but Labrov is still away from a Warmogs, and Sheo, is Locket Abyssal. If he's the one eating the Pyroclasm, Razork's using it incorrectly.
And it also puts BDS in a very difficult spot now where you're getting side lane pressure for Fnatic, which means they can group up on mid, means you don't get to use the Camille, you don't get to use a lot of those pushing lanes that we were talking about already. Now, Ice can keep a lot of the waves safe, as you can see in the mid lane, and try and delay the game, but it only takes a moment for Fnatic to suddenly group on mid, catch Ice out, and you don't have a mid lane or a Ziggs anymore on that mid turret.
Moment BDS trying to lie in wait, see if anyone oversteps. Adam here towards the mid side. Razork has his flash, as does Noah. Razork's in the area. Labrov's going to be the one to face check. Knows it for sure now that Razork is waiting in that bush. Puts the control board down. Jun comes in, flashes for it.
All right.
Cool.
Bit of a Mickey cosplay there. That was ambitious. Doesn't quite work out.
Hey, he's too damn tanky, Vedi. You can't kill him. He's too damn tanky, man.
There's viewers that will not know that reference. You can look that one up, XPeke, the legend. So right now it's just a bit of a contest over the control of the bot side jungle. Ooh.
They're too tanky as well.
Yeah.
Gonna walk away from that one. The burn from the brand doing some work. Humanoid, his priority this series is just to be a side laner, and he has done an effective job. Oh, Razork needs to be careful.
They flash for him, he flashes away. Just in time to
Is this a
dodge
collapse?
the Glacial Prison. As you say, a collapse possible. If only Jun had flash right now, he could flash Glacial Fissure. He can't get in range to do it. And the collapse becomes not much as Humanoid now can push out the bot side. Amna's going to try and respond, but again, Fnatic are doing a really good job of shadowing Humanoid, making sure that he can never be collapsed on easily by BDS.
Yeah, basically what Fnatic are doing is drawing this portion of the map and saying this is ours. So if you're looking at BDS, they have to go the whole way around the back to try and defend, but you've got the quicker access on the map through these points here as Fnatic, and making it really, really difficult for BDS to defend. And it's a little bit difficult because they don't have those engage tools to just jump on someone the second they see them, but you can see that BDS are trying to find those Fnatic members as they're separated, trying to set up for that play in the hopes they can deny it, but still Humanoid is able to get a little bit of a push. But I think this is what we'll see Fnatic continuously go for, and then you either get mid-turret or you get pressure onto the tier 2, and BDS are left in a bit of a catch-22.
Look, just finishing his second Hydra now as well. The Void stuff alongside the Leandries. No Rylai's yet. Doesn't really need it as much this game. The slow not as powerful. Doesn't really need to stop BDS from being able to get onto his backline. Just doing a fantastic job of that so far. Now, again, look where Humanoid is. He's in a side lane pushing forward, and Fnatic are covering him. I remember only a few years ago, one of our catchphrases for Humanoid was, in a side lane, Humanoid dies. Fnatic making sure that's not the case this game. He's yet to die. He has a 250 gold bounty on his head and is 1,000 gold ahead of a nuke in that mid lane. BDS trying to collapse, but Fnatic are just escorting the President away. Jun tanks it. Glacial Fissure coming out. Jun down to about half HP. There's the culling. Razork falls first, so does Jun, but Humanoid survives. And the goal for Fnatic continues to be that. Good collapse from BDS, a Baron perhaps.
A really nice force from BDS. They stacked at 5 on the top side, and even with the tankiness of the Braum, they were able to just push through it, get that execution onto the jungler. Now Noah's going to be crucial in this fight.
All out Emperor's Divide. And the bullet time could be enough here for Fnatic. The Baron down to 5,000. Labrov is flanked all the way around, but spotted on a ward now. There's the bullet time. Adam on the front line! Noah gets it somehow! Noah gets it! Nuke falls after, and Fnatic are looking for a bit more of a chase. Labrov has been caught by Jun. Sheo's going to be able to get his recall off, but I don't think that same luxury is afforded to Ice. He's collapsed on by Noah and by Oscar and put on Ice himself. Sent to the morgue by Fnatic. A Baron at their backs.
What the hell just happened? I looked see Labrov getting jumped on, and the Baron was stolen by Noah. Now everyone on BDS is dead apart from Sheo, and Fnatic are cracking turrets and cracking heads.
Misfortune Ultimate. We were just talking about how crucial it was going to be in this fight, and the way that he used it, he found such a good angle. I think his goal was to just do as much damage as possible, but the fact... I mean, I don't think I even saw the smite. I think he just killed it. He just straight up killed the Baron and said, thanks for that, team. And in a 3 versus 5, Fnatic walk away with 4 kills and the Baron buff.
I mean, that's one for Hawkeye to have a look at, because, like, is that in, is that out? That was close. It's, I wonder if the Ziggs convergence as well from Oscarinin helped out a little bit. You can see dismay for BDS there. The Drake secured as well for Fnatic. They've already got 6k off this Baron power play, by the way. They're 1 Drake away from a Cloud Soul. They are 7,000 gold in the lead right now, and everything's coming up roses for Fnatic. A bounty on the heads of Noah and Humanoid. You can see the gold explosion for them. Ice in the mid lane still has his flash, and Fnatic don't really care about the kills anymore. They can, as you say, just crack through these towers. The standing money on the map, those standing objectives, will fall lickety-split in their wake.
Especially with both side laners for BDS pushing, means that they can just crack up in the mid lane structure. Sheo is sitting off to the side, but he's going to have to abandon this moment. Fnatic, they've just fully taken this game by the horns.
Weird one, for sure. I was expecting more like large-scale fights. I think we got 1 fight towards the bot side of the map. A lot of it has just been finding picks all across the board. And yeah, that Baron, the initial premise is good from BDS, but there were 2 key factors that came into play. The first one was Humanoid did a lot of damage, even though both Razork and Jun died. So that was the first step. The second step is then the Baron taking speed isn't that fast from BDS. And so you've got the time for Noah to position himself, and then Oscar and Humanoid, like, you know, you see the idea, numbers advantage, but the key targets that you needed to take out were still alive, and so that Braum was always going to be a threat, and ultimately they didn't respect it, and Fnatic ended up coming out on top. So now they find themselves with a 7.5k gold lead as a team. Humanoid alone has a 3k gold lead. His death cap is finished. He's working towards a Void Staff or some other magic penetration item, and Fnatic knocking on the base once again.
TP coming in, Oscarinin. They really want to hard force this down, and BDS aren't in position.
They just can't get close enough right now. It would be a Glacial Prison thrown at arm's length from Sheo to try and find a pick, but Jun's there on the front line alongside Oscarinin. The inhibitor tower in the top lane already gone. The inhibitor short to follow as Noah cracks it down.
And Oscarinin just set up a slow push on the bottom side as well, right before he teleported in, so Fnatic can now go down. Adam going to try and beat them to the punch to clear out that wave so they can't try and meet it, but Fnatic setting up the map in their favor nicely.
Baron has expired, but Fnatic are not stopping on the push. Oscarinin at 3.5 items ahead of Adam. His are sizably cheaper, of course, but in a strong position as Nuke eats half his health for breakfast. Sheo coming in from the backside onto Razork. He still has the flash. The Pyroclasm going down as well. The culling not really clipping onto Humanoid. Noah chasing out Nuke. He opens up and bullet time. Dodge this, says Noah. Humanoid slides. Ice back. And he's sent packing. Fnatic clean up the fight and lose no one.
It is a clean ace for Fnatic. Sub 30 minutes with a lot more confidence. Fnatic look to go to match point in this series against BDS.
I still can't believe Noah stole that Baron. That ultimate was immaculate and won Fnatic that game. The MF coming in clutch right at the end.
When you pop the bullet time, you can see the Matrix, and he read those ones and zeros. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's actually based on a Chinese takeout menu, the code in the Matrix.
Oh?
Yeah, it's just like all of the code is just... That was a bit of a weird thing to go to right now. It popped into my head. Fnatic are clean. Fnatic are clean. We'll see you after this. Google it.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Lore!
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey, shouldn't you be on stage right now?
Hey, you got a pick.
Tom Kent? What? I was not expecting this.
And a crazy off-meta pick that secured you the win. How did you come up with it?
I just listened to my gut.